Okay, so best situation I can get this in right now. Hopefully this is a new video or whatever, but so this is the plunger coming out of the bottom of this vacuum unit here, whatever this is called. There's this metal arm here that it hooks onto, and then right here you can see this little piece of plastic here. And I don't know if you can tell, but this is the only angle I could really get in to keep the phone still. It's busted right along here. There's a crack and you can see something's missing right there. And then right here, this guy, that is the switch that needs to be hitting to let your computer know that this is all functioning when you're hitting your throttle and the vacuum's working and everything. So try to stick my finger in here without blocking everything and show you guys. So when the vacuum pulls on it, see that white switch on the back of the metal arm swings around? It's supposed to be able to hit this little rubber plunger right there to send that signal. So like I said, I saw somebody that had typed some info online about if you go up to that switch, there's two Phillips screws. You undo the first one, and that thin metal bracket that mounts it, you can just bend it so that then instead of sitting like this, it basically sits straight down, and then that white piece of plastic, even though it's broken, will still hit that. Because unfortunately that metal arm and that little white piece of plastic are only available with the entire intake manifold, which from what I've seen online, even on eBay, they're like $1,400. And I've tried a few junkyards because I thought that was my issue, and most of them will not sell the intake manifold separately from the motor. They only want to sell the entire engine. So if this is the only video you're watching, hopefully you watch the other ones, but this is probably like part 3. First, you want to hook up a vacuum pump to this diaphragm and see if when you put a vacuum on it, if this arm is actually pulling back. If it's not, then you need to replace that unit because the rubber diaphragm inside is busted. I've heard someone else say that they were able to repair this. You know, they took like some plastic weld and another piece or something and basically rebuilt that plastic piece so that it work. You know, if you work on cars and stuff, you'll be able to get in here and figure out what you want to do. But those are some ideas. On my previous video, I showed you the wires coming out of my switch are the insulation's been ripped off right at the switch, so I'm gonna have to replace that whole switch for myself, and I'm gonna have to fix this guy. And hopefully then once I clear the engine code, which again is the P2006, intake manifold runner control valve stuck closed. Yeah, so send me a message or whatever if I'm not being clear on everything, or if I didn't cover something. Hopefully that helps you guys out and saves you a ton of money. Like I said, I was going to go back a little bit. I showed in my previous video how to take the first part apart. To get to that stuff I was just showing you, I had to take the top of the air cover off and the tube, the intake tube that runs back. So you only got a few clips to loosen that. There's a wire harness here that plugs into the top. You unplug that, undo your hose clamps that hold those on, and then this guy, which is like a PCV assembly, you undo that clip off of the intake manifold. This is kind of sticky on mine, so I had to take that intake tube and kind of twist it back and forth to get this to break free so I could pull it out, because I'm sure you don't want to break this whole thing. But once it's off, you can actually swing it up out of the way, and then you've got access to see all the stuff that I was just showing you in here. To replace that switch, I'm probably gonna obviously have to get a couple other things out of the way, and I'll do that too. You know, if you guys want to see that, I'll do a little video of that too. But hopefully the main thing, you know, like I said, that engine code is either going to be This switch, which is the easiest one to replace, if you check my other videos, you'll see how to replace that. The vacuum lines that go to it, this plastic thing can get clogged. Not very common, but it can happen. And then all the issues that are going down here, either the rubber diaphragm, the little white plastic arm, or that little 2-wire switch. That's basically everything that you can fix outside of the actual wiring harness. If there's something busted there, you know, that's a different issue that you need to track down. Otherwise, if this still doesn't fix it, you're gonna have to pull the intake manifold and see if your butterflies in there are busted. If they're busted, it all has to be replaced. If they're just actually stuck because of carbon buildup, you can try to clean all that out, you know, with carb cleaner, stuff like that. Try to get all the carbon buildup off of there, get them moving freely again, then reassemble it. That's your only other option, really, if none of this stuff fixes it. Hopefully this helps you guys out and I didn't do it too confusing or anything. Yeah, hit me up, send me a message if you want. richdog4204@gmail.com. richdog2gs4204@gmail.com. Peace.